I would consider myself pretty good at Clash Royale, hitting Ultimate Champion multiple times. I have 9k trophies. I recently maxed my deck, and I even have a second account with 5,000 trophies. It is fully free to play, and that means my cards have no levels. But besides my flexes, let's actually get into what the video is about. How to actually get better at Clash Royale. So there are multiple key points we have to discuss, and I will start with the decks and levels. Firstly, I want to establish one thing. The best deck for a certain arena is not a thing. Sure, you might unlock new cards every single arena, but that doesn't mean you have to switch them out every time. I always see people ask about this, and even a lot of my friends ask me this question. When you make any deck, all I suggest is 2 spells, a win condition, a mini tank, 1 building. There are exceptions, and the rest can either be support or cycle, and don't forget air defense. As you can see, here's my main deck, meeting all of the criteria. But most importantly, you need to stick to the same deck. Sticking to the same deck helps you learn and get better at all the interactions you will come across with that deck. Sticking with the same deck also helps you level up your cards faster, because you are not constantly changing the cards in the deck. You are only leveling up 8 cards. If you're struggling to find a deck to start with, here are a few I suggest. Minor Poison, Log Bait, Hog Earthquake, Expo is a little harder to play, but it is fun, and of course my deck. If you have any questions or want me to help you build a deck you are good with, feel free to leave a comment down below, and I will make sure to help everyone. The next thing we'll discuss is levels. Levels are very important in Clash Royale, as you can see. And I know most of the people watching this video are probably free to play, but even being free to play, there are so many ways to get better levels, and here's how. Starting with Clan Wars. Doing Clan Wars, in my opinion, is boring because I destroy almost anyone I go against, but besides that, you actually get a lot of gold from Clan Wars. And on that note, if you have a good clan that wins Clan Wars every time, you get a free chest that always gives a legendary. This chest is where most people usually get their first legendaries. Another thing to do with the clan is requesting cards and trading them with clanmates. By doing this, you get more cards for your deck and you can upgrade them faster. And lastly, tokens. I think this is pretty straightforward, but you can get things like books and evolutions to help you progress. Oh, and one last thing, just make sure to get your lucky drops and complete the pass. Yes, believe it or not, your mood affects your gameplay. I've had many moments where I'm mad or I don't feel good and start playing Clash Royale, and almost every time it doesn't go the way I want it to. So anyway, I strongly suggest you are in a good mood before you start playing, or you could really tilt. And this brings us to our next chapter. So when playing Ladder or Path of Legends, it is very important not to tilt. And you can do this by following this rule. If you lose 2 games in a row, take a break. And if you win a lot of games and lose 1, take a break. For example, before I've went on a 10-game win streak in Grand Champion and lost a game, so I took a break and didn't tilt. So Elixir Counting also goes along with keeping track of your opponent's cycle. Starting with Elixir Counting though, it is fairly easy. You don't have to actually fully keep track of how much Elixir they have. You can just estimate, or if they spend 10 Elixir at once, you know they are at 0. Keeping track of your opponent's cycle is very important, but unlike you may think, you don't have to keep track of every single card in their deck. You only really need to know their cycles of their counters to your deck. For example, keeping track of when someone has a tower while you have Hog, because you then know you need to Earthquake with the Hog, and if you know they don't have Bomb Tower, you can go Hog by itself. Meanwhile, your opponent's probably going to Panic Cycle back to their Bomb Tower, wasting Elixir. Keeping track of cycle is pretty easy. All you have to do is wait till they place the card that counters you, then once they place another 4 cards after that, they are back. Also, keep in mind that when they have a champion down, it is only 3 cards after. Recognizing decks is very easy for me, but I have no clue how hard it is for a beginner, so it's a good skill to have. You do so by looking at the few cards they have placed in the beginning of the game, and seeing what deck those cards could be a part of. For example, here he places a Goblin Barrel. The only deck Goblin Barrel is pretty much viable in is just Log Bait, and his Princess pretty much confirms this. Things like this are good to know because if you see that their deck counters you, you need to play more passive or defensively, and if you counter them, to play more aggressive or offensively. Last but certainly not least is overcommitment and undercommitment. I would say most people I see that are stuck overcommit more than they undercommit, so we're going to focus on that. So overcommitting on offense to start is a very bad waste of Elixir. So if your push is not working whatsoever, just let it die out and do not spend more Elixir. That Elixir will end up going to waste. So instead, prepare for defense. And speaking of defense, overcommitting on defense is even more common. For example, if you are down Elixir and they place wall breakers at the bridge, unless your tower is super low or you are winning, there are instances when you can just do nothing and take the Elixir lead. Oh, and make sure to start thinking ahead of how things will play out on defense and offense, so you can predict better and have cleaner defenses. That's everything you need to know to get better at Clash Royale. If you like this video, be sure to leave a like and hit that subscribe button. This is my longest video yet, so tell me in the comments what my next should be. See you in the next one.